Alright, so let's continue. So now let's get back to the cart panel, and the first thing that we should do is to display the panel when the user clicks on this button that we have. So for it, let's head back to the let's get to the index.js in the pages directory, like the home page that we have. So currently we had we commented this thing out, so I'm gonna uncomment it, which will make the cart panel visible, which is fine. So now let's get to the cart panel, and let's do one thing for the time being. I'm gonna set it to be of 0 so that we see the first part, which is the cart. So that's good, and actually this is looking much better because we reduced the padding on the x-axis to be of 2. Earlier it was 4 on all the sides. Anyway, so now the thing is that the drawer component that we are using, which is responsible for displaying this cart panel on the right side, it takes the open prop. So right now we are passing down open, just the prop, which means that the value of it is true. So if we set the value of it to be of false, it means the drawer will be closed, the panel will not be visible. So we need to have a state, but the state has to be at some place which could be easily accessed by not only the cart panel but also the top bar, because the icon that we have, it is in the top bar. So for that, let's create the state right in the home page, right over here. Now we can give it a name of show panel, and the function to be of set show panel, and by default the value of it should be false. Pretty obvious. So now we just need to pass down this show panel to the cart panel component in such a way, and also, well, actually before the on close, let's also pass down the function which will be called when the user clicks on this button. So for that, right over here, let's pass down a prop called open panel, and the value of it would be a callback function where we are calling set show panel with a value of true. So now let's get to the top bar component. Let's destructure the prop, and let's call this function when the user clicks on the icon button, which we have over here. So I'm going to pass down the on click to be of this. And now let's get over here, 1 second. So within the pages, we are passing down show panel to the show panel function to the cart panel component, this particular one. So let's destructure it right at the top, and let's bind it with the open prop to the drawer component. So now if we save it and if we take a look, as you can see, the drawer is closed because the default value of show panel is false, but we changed the state when the user clicks on the button. So let's see. Perfect. So that's working. Now we need to work on the closing of this drawer. So we want to do that when the user clicks anywhere outside, and we can do that by passing in on close on the same drawer component. So this function will be called when the user clicks anywhere outside, like anywhere except the drawer. So we need to have the function first. Let's head back to the index, and right over here, in the same manner as what we have open panel, we're going to pass down close panel, and the state value should change to be of false. So now let's get to the cart panel. Let's destructure this prop, and let's bind it. Let's call it when the user clicks on close. So now if we save it and if we click anywhere outside, bada boom. So that's working beautiful. So now let's work on displaying the cart items, like all the items which we have in the cart. So for that, let's head back over here. So this is the cart panel. So it means that we need to pass down the cart as well as the books, because the cart only contains the name and the quantity, but we also need the book cover image, which is in the book object. the book cover image as well as the price. So for all of that, we will be passing the books and the cart to the cart panel in such a way. So now let's head to the cart panel, and over here let's destructure books and cart in such a way. And now we need to do again a bit of prop drilling, because we need to pass down these two things to the cart component. So the thing is that over here we are displaying a dynamic component, which is panel. So this thing will be decided based upon this value, like the active panel index that we have. So this thing, it displays a dynamic component depending upon the index. So we are just going to pass down these two props, books to be of books and cart to be of cart. So these two props will be passed down to both of these components, regardless which one is being shown, whether the cart or the enter details, because we are passing it down to this component, which fluctuates depending upon the index. I hope that's clear. So now let's head to the cart component. And now we can again destructure these two, books and cart. And now we just need to display this thing dynamically. So for that, we have the cart, which is an object where the field names, like the property names, are the book names and the value is the quantity. So over here we can first get all the book names, because that's the thing that we are using as an ID. So over here we can do books in cart and do object dot keys and pass down the cart. So this will return back an array of the book names which are in the cart. So right over here, well, we also need to check whether we do have any item or not in the cart. So for that, over here we can just check the length of it, and if the length is 0, so if we reverse the value of 0 with the logical operator, if we reverse the value, then it would be true, because 0, if we coerce it, it's false, but if we reverse it, it's true. So over here, if there are no items, then we just need to display a typography with the text of no cart is empty. Cart is empty would be much better. Otherwise, the cart item in such a way. Let's also align it by passing down the align component to be of center. How about that? Align is a prop which the typography takes, by the way. So let's take it for a spin and let's see. So yep, that's what it is. Cart is empty because we do not have anything just yet. But if we add something, then obviously it's not the same, but it, like right now, it is reflecting that there is something in the cart. So now what we need to do, instead of the cart item, like just a single one, we will be well, actually we can do it in this way. We're gonna do books in cart, which is an array. We're gonna map over this thing. We get the book that we have. This is actually the book name, and now we need to return back the cart item. Right, so let's first pass down the key, otherwise it's gonna scream that it needs to have a key. And we also need to pass down the actual book object. So this books, if you remember, it's an array containing the books objects, like all the books that there are in the store. So we only need to pass down the particular one, the one that we are kind of iterating over. So for that, let's pass down book. So this is an array, and in order to find out something particular in an this is an array of objects, like the book objects, and in order to find something like an object in an array, we can use find. Let's do that. So we can do books dot find. We get the book. Let's do it as b dot name. That's the property if it equals to the book name in this way. So now if we save it, we get an error. Book, yeah, right, books in cart, that's what it is. Oh shit, books in cart. Okay, so before we actually see whether this thing is working, let me just reiterate on the entire thing. First, we are checking that whether there is something in the cart, because if there is not, there is no point of mapping over anything. So we just display the text of cart is empty. But if the length is more than 0, if it's 1 or more than that, it means that there is something in the cart. And then we are mapping over this array of book names, the book names in the cart, like the books which are in the cart. So this is an array of their names. So we are mapping over this thing, we get the book name, and we are returning back the cart item where we are using the book name as the key, and we are also passing down the book object. So the book object, for which we have the entire collection of books, we are finding the particular one which is added, which is the one which we are iterating over. So now within the cart item, let's actually get over here. We can destructure the book, and now let's actually display it. Let's do that. So first thing, instead of the hard-coded image URL, we will be using the template. What was the name of it? I kind of forgot. Template literal, I don't remember. Anyway, so we're gonna use the dollar and the braces so that we can use a variable. So we got the book, and I actually forgot the name. It's image, right? Yeah, it's image. So we're gonna do book.image, and over here it's gonna be book.name, and the same thing over here, book.price. Let me just check. Yep, that's what it is. So now if we save it, we'll also be passing the quantity and stuff, but let's do that in the next video. Let's first see whether this thing is at least working. So I've just added 2 things in the cart, and let's take a look. So that's again beautiful. So this thing is reflecting the items that we have in the cart. Now we just need to work on the quantity manager and stuff. So let's actually do that in the next video, because I can suspect this video lagging a bit. So see you in the next one, and again, thank you for watching.